Can you kind of walk through the philosophy of why you call it simple numbers and what those simple numbers are?
Yeah, right. And there's a belief that I think all high level entrepreneurs understand is that simplicity breeds clarity. And as soon as we complicate things, it creates confusion. And when we're confused, we can't move forward and grow confidently. And without that confidence, scalability is almost impossible. Like true scale comes from clarity and confidence, and that comes from simplicity. So sometimes I'll look at people's numbers and I'll explain them, and I hear this all the time. They'll say, I've never heard it explained that way before. And it makes simple sense. So that's the idea of simple numbers. And if you think about it, there really are 5 numbers in a lot of businesses, financial models, but very clearly in real estate. Those are the 5 numbers we got to focus on. Those 5 numbers create a pie. So visualize a pie. We can look at this and look at our business visually. The pie itself is the first number. That's our total revenue. That's the amount we're not necessarily used to seeing because it's before the broker got paid, before we paid referrals, before we paid agents their splits, if we pay agents, maybe a third-party referral like Zillow or someone else. It's the true top line. That's the pie. And then we have to cut that pie up into pieces. And there's really just a handful of pieces. The first piece is that cost of sale. That is now the amount that went to the broker, the agents, and any referrals we would have paid. That's that first piece of pie. That's the second number. The third one then is gross profit. That's what we now have left. That's the amount that would have hit our bank account as a business owner. And we now have to pay the bills from that. I've heard it also called real revenue because it really is the real money you as the business owner now have to work with. But if we skip those first 2 numbers, really that cost of sale, it can, again, create a business where on paper we look healthy. But if we were to exit production as the owner, because think about it, whenever we do a deal, 100% of the dollars, in most cases, we generate, we keep after we pay the broker, but we don't have an agent to pay a split on. So all of a sudden, the amount hitting our bank account looks pretty dang healthy. The problem is it's most of it, or a lot of it is coming, or at least it's skewed from the fact that 100% of our commission dollars from our personal production goes into that real revenue or gross profit or company dollar number. So that's the third number. It's the amount that hit our bank account is essentially the best way to explain it. It's the money we now have to work with to pay the operating expenses and have profit. Those are the next 2 pieces of the pie, right? We already paid that was the first piece. Then we have our operating expenses. That's the money we had to spend to run the business. I break it down into 3 main categories. This is probably another big mistake I see most CPAs make. They have like 18 expense categories. So confusing. No, 3. Every dollar we spend should be in one of the 3 main categories that will make up our operating expenses. Number 1, lead generation and marketing. Any dollar we spend with the intent of branding or generating opportunity for our business is a lead gen marketing dollar. Number 2 is people expenses. These would be non-agent costs, right? Like our staff, our VAs, our whoever that might be paid, part of our business. And then number 3 is overhead. And that's just everything that isn't a lead gen marketing dollar or a people expense. Things like coaching, consulting, bookkeeping, whatever, office space, all the stuff we need to run the business. Those 3 categories make up our operating expenses. And then that leaves us with the third piece of the pie, the final piece of the pie, and that's your net profit. And depending on what model you're building will determine how big each piece of the pie is. But every real estate business, whether you're a solo agent all the way up to a giant mega team, is going to have those 3 pieces of the pie. And the thing we got to get clear on is how big each piece needs to be for the model that you're looking to build, and then stick with that model.